Greetings, Local 2627 sisters and brothers. Today is Tuesday, July 9th. Another hot day. They're not going to call it a heat wave because it's not 90 degrees. I think this is going to go up to 88 degrees, and you have to have 3 consecutive days of 90s before they declare it as a heat wave. Anyway, I want everybody to be thankful for what you got. Independence Day just passed. You know, Independence Day is when we declared our independence from Great Britain or England, however you want to look at it. And we have a lot to be thankful for. We have a lot to be thankful for about these jobs. Even some people don't think about it that way. And that being said, let me tell you a couple of things. Remember that we work for these agencies. We work for them. They don't work for us. They have hired us. Now, sometimes people get at a job and they've been working there for 20 or 25 years, sometimes not even that long, and they think that they have certain rights, which are not really rights. I mean, if it's not a violation of the contract, there's things that we can't do about it. For example, I have 2 particular items I want to talk about. One, your work schedule. Unless, and let me say this again, unless when you signed on, or unless it was in the posting with your specific hours to work and your particular days to work, you have no argument. You have no argument. So if you worked a day shift and now they move you to a night shift, you didn't work weekends before, now they have you working weekends, basically there's nothing that we can do about it because the agency has the right, unless I'm saying, like I said earlier, unless you sign some type of documentation to say that when you came on that you were only going to work specific hours on specific days. And it was or the posting said that these were going to be the work hours. The same vein, I want to also mention with work locations. Your agency, especially if you have an agency that has multiple locations, they can change to any one of those locations they want to based on need. Now, sometimes people try to say, well, they change them because they have a hard time with them when you're not getting along with management. I mean, these type of things are things that you'd have to be able to prove. But they do have the right to change you. Now, if your commute was 15 minutes and now your commute went to an hour and 15 minutes, you know what? Most people's commutes are between an hour and a half. You'd have to really show some type of hardship with the commute, and that's going to still be very hard. Now, if you say because you can't make it to daycare or because you have classes that you have to attend or you have another job, the agency doesn't care. The city of New York does not care about it. As far as they're concerned, that's your issue. And let me remind you again, if you do have a second job, please make sure that your agency knows that you have a second job. And if they make that inquiry, do not lie to them, because when they find out, remember, it's easy to find out because they have your social security number. Let me say that again. It's easy for them to find out because they have your social security number. The same way if you get arrested, they will find out. They may not find out that day. They may not find out that week or that month, but they will find out that you've been arrested because they have your fingerprints on file. So keep that in mind. They have the right to change your work hours, and they have the right to change your work location. Now, like I'm saying, unless we can prove some type of hardship, it's got to be a significant hardship. We just have to grin and bear it. In my career, probably the 25 years that I worked at my work location before I came out here, I probably have my work location and my hours changed probably 5 or 6 times. Probably 5 or 6 times. Was it disruptive to me sometime? Yes, it was, but I had to make the adjustment because that's what the job called for. This is for CUNY in particular, or anybody who has PeopleSoft skills. CUNY has started a new title. It's not effective yet, but I mean, they're getting ready to introduce a new title, which is Application Developer Software PeopleSoft. You have to know PeopleSoft, and you have to have at least 3 years, a minimum of 3 years of development skills in PeopleSoft. So CUNY is going to be hiring pretty soon in that title. That salary, the salary is equivalent to probably about what a Spec 2 or 3 makes. So if you have those skills, you might want to look into a CUNY when it's posted. I'll let you know when the job becomes available. But we've had a sit down with CUNY to discuss the title, and this is in their right, and we didn't find anything wrong with it. At this time, there was a couple little nuances that we're eyeing out, but this is going to happen. And for the people in CUNY, like I'm saying, I mentioned before, the CUNY First thing was going to put a lot of people behind if you didn't get the skills that were necessary to participate in CUNY First. No, they won't be able to lay you off, but you probably won't be able to get promoted because you don't have the skills that they're looking for. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions about that, of course, call me. And if you work for another agency that's using PeopleSoft and you're thinking about changing to CUNY, give me a call and we can talk about it. FISA is still hiring. They're still hiring to replace people on that City Time project. And remember, everybody who worked on City Time as a consultant, all those 533 some odd jobs has to be replaced by city workers, and this is something that John Liu was able to do. So if you have the skills they're looking for, check out FISA, Financial Services Agency. They're up on 33rd Street and 10th Avenue. Local 2627 and DC 37 Professional Vision will be moving back to the 125 Barclay Street address effective July 22nd of this month, Monday, July 22nd, and we're going to be there. I sure will be glad to be back. I sure will be glad to be back. Good and welfare this week from the Department of Finance. Anthony Fung Q, or QE, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce his name right. His father passed away. We're sorry to hear that. And of course, 2627 empathizes with this brother, and our love and sympathy goes out to him and his family. Until I speak to you again, and let me remind you, the vote, the primary is going to be a very important place for you to vote. Also, please look at the DC 37 website or the Local 2627 website, and we will show you who the recommendations are, who you should vote for in the November election, which is going to be very, very important to you. Because remember, you don't have a contract. And out of all the mayoral candidates, there's only one mayoral candidate who's talking about retroactivity, and that's John Liu. And since John Liu is the controller, he knows where the money is to fund this. So keep that in mind. Don't let the polls try to discourage you, because the polls are ran by one person to discourage you. I mean, so listen, if you have to be around here for a few years, or you get ready to go out and you want to have your salary bumped up a little bit, you need to go to the polls and do the right thing. In solidarity, this is Robert Ajayi.